All right, all right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Two in the Zone. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. My guy, Dead Press Picks. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, brother? Good. How was your weekend? Everything good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Weekends in terms of betting, football dominates, so my volume with the NBA goes down, and
Right.
I went 2-0, 1-0 Saturday, 1-0 Sunday, so I can't complain.
Can't beat that. Can't beat that. Yeah, had a little 1-0 day yesterday with just Toronto on the basketball court. So I'm with you there, AC. Sometimes that's good. Once the weekend hits, easy money, less volume sometimes does the job. But yeah, we want to thank everyone. Obviously, guys, we were not here all weekend. We're just here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We want to thank our friends at Seven Stack Sports. Make sure you guys follow them on Twitter. Right there on the screen at Seven Stack Sports. They sponsor every single episode. And today, AC, we got a little bit of another promo from our friends over there. So listen up, guys. Any new customers, if you sign up today with Seven Stacks, you're going to get a 200% free play bonus up to $1,000. Now, if you're an existing customer, which many are because it's the best sports book on Twitter, you're going to get 150% free play bonus plus 10% back on any losses this week.
Wow.
Pretty crazy deal there, AC. Also, daily payouts, guys, if you use Bitcoin. We saw a payment today, about $5,000, just a daily payout from Seven Stack. So pretty remarkable deals. And then also we have a Twitter giveaway going on right now, $10 to anyone who retweets this video. So if you guys are watching right now, retweet it. Seven Stacks is going to pick 10 of you, give you $10, maybe throw that on a little same game parlay we cook up tonight, something fun. But pretty amazing deals, guys, for the new day, for the new week. So thank you to our friend at Seven Stack Sports. Make sure you guys do remember, if you're watching this video, please retweet this video for another chance at some free money, but some pretty crazy promos there, AC, to kick off the week.
Dad, did you notice you and I are both going without the hat today?
I know. What's going on?
We're feeling it, man.
Yeah,
you just got your haircut Friday.
I got it cut on Friday, so I figured we'll go no hats for to
like
start the week.
Yeah, for the week. All right, let's get into this weekend. We have some awesome graphics here. We are moving up, guys. We're averaging about 4,000 or 5,000 viewers per show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So let's try to up that number. Let's see if we could get a 10,000 view show sometime this week. So all right, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, we didn't meet up. Yeah, we didn't meet up on any of the weekends. But I want to talk about some of the big games. Right, Friday night was that big Suns Warriors game. Dead. The Suns came in. They won, I think, 18 or 19 in a row, and they got killed 118-96 in the Chase Center against the Warriors. Warriors end up winning by 22 points there. Any thoughts on this game?
I think we talked about this one, AC, that it was kind of a weird spot. I ended up laying off this game completely. Kind of that little bit of the rematch type of feel, right, where the Suns beat up on them. There's no Booker, so it wasn't too much of a shock for me that the Warriors ended up pulling away in that game. But overall, yes, I stayed off this game. Western Conference, though, man, is heating up with those two teams atop of it. It's been a fun ride so far this season.
One more game I wanted to touch on Friday. We kind of joked about it, but LeBron had COVID for like 3 hours, and then he came back and somehow started playing on Friday night. The line flipped to the Lakers big time. All the money poured in on, the Showtime Lakers. They lost. They lost straight up at home. Same stadium, obviously. They lost at home to the Clippers 119-115. Guys, this is another example of trying not to, follow the trends, not trying to overreact to certain news. LeBron, one of the better players in the NBA, but it doesn't mean that they're guaranteed a win just because he's returning.
Right.
And then the early game, let's talk about this. This is your team right here. I was on Philly, so I was happy. I'm going to be on Philly tonight as a sneak peek, by the way. But Philly going into Atlanta. Atlanta, we both know, are very, very good at home in Atlanta. But they were missing a ton of guys, and Philly came out and, Joe Embiid just tore them up, 98-96 on the road. It was a lot of clutch moments there at the end of the fourth. Your team, man, how'd you feel about that game?
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy game, AC. I mean, I was out with my buddies, and we were on our way somewhere and kept looking at the phone like, all right, they're making a comeback here. But 9 points in the fourth quarter, 9 for the Hawks. So I don't know if that's bad shooting or good defense. I mean, there was 29 points total in that quarter. So that the over-under in that game was 216. You were cruising heading into that quarter.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the pace just ended up dying there. But big win for Philly. Get us back to over 500. And you mentioned now we get a little bit of a break because the Hornets got smoked by COVID, unfortunately for them. Sixers get them on a back-to-back before they have a couple tough tests. They're going to have Utah and Golden State ahead as well. So nice to catch a little bit of a break there for Philly early in the season, but big win. Kind of a bad beat in a way if you're on the Hawks, right? I mean, 9 points in the fourth quarter over on the Hawks there. That was a tough one.
I mean, to me, that's how Philly is going to win. If they want to get to where I think they can get to, because they're still super talented. Joel Embiid still one of the best players in the NBA. If they want to get to the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals, it's their defense, man. Thibault, Maxey, Joel Embiid, obviously. So I think if they lean on that defense and then have a lot of clutch shooting, there are some rumors, right, with CJ McCollum and Ben Simmons and things like that. But if they lean on that defense, they're going to be really good. All right, moving on to Saturday Night Dead. A couple big games. One was the Bulls-Nets. The Bulls went into Brooklyn and won impressively on the road, 111-107. This was a great game. The best fourth quarter scorer in the NBA right now is DeMar DeRozan. How do you feel about the Bulls, man?
Well, I'm happy about it. See, this was when I was on the Nets, so I wasn't happy about the ultimate result there. Kind of choked that away. AC, they actually led every quarter until the only one that mattered in the fourth. So they had a lead all game. The issue with them continues to be the bench. I mean, there's still 9 games over 500, so I'm not going to go crazy. But when they've had to play good playoff teams, they're struggling. So, impressive win again. You mentioned DeMar. You think about the offseason for the Bulls. DeMar was kind of, a forgotten superstar, I think, in a lot of ways. People forget how good he was.
Lonzo Ball was the wrong move. Yeah,
exactly.
Thought it was the wrong move by the Bulls.
And I think you could argue the same with Lonzo. A lot of people gave up on Lonzo Young. Alex Caruso, I think his signing, we didn't realize how impactful it would be. I mean, they did a phenomenal job in the offseason. They did a good job drafting, too, to get Ayo Dosunmu where they did, because he's already showing he's a impactful guy off the bench. And, they haven't even had Kobe White in a lot of these games with injuries. And, they haven't had Patrick Williams. We mentioned he was a top pick for them. They've been really impressive this season. I don't want to say they're the best team in the East, but they're going to be competing all season. They can compete with this roster, in my opinion, for a championship.
All right, one last game on Saturday. This was the perfect letdown spot, Dead. The Warriors just came off that huge win Friday night against the Suns. Then they had San Antonio coming in, so second night of a back-to-back. They actually lose at home to the Spurs, 112-107. Is there room for concern here for Golden State, or was this just the second night of a back-to-back?
Yeah, this is the second night of a back-to-back. I mean, that's good for us, right? The Spurs team total starting to take a little bit of a turn on the young season. But look, we've mentioned the Spurs before. They're going to compete every night. The reason I actually took that bet, and I'm sure you did too, they're young guys all playing for their career. So they don't have a superstar. They don't have a guy who's really comfortable, and sometimes those are the best teams to bet on. A bunch of guys who are going to give it everything they have every night. But bad shooting night for Steph. I mean, he ended up with 27, but he was 7 for 28 from the floor. They just didn't get his typical production. 5 of 17 from 3. Shot a lot of times in that game, but just back to back and a little bit of a letdown spot. The Warriors will be fine though. No worries there.
He's the only player in the NBA that could get away with shooting 17 threes.
I know. That's why I just casually looked at that stat and I was like, Jesus, 17 threes. That's quite the volume there.
All right. And a couple games on Sunday before we get into tonight's awesome slate and some of our best bets. I want to talk about the Hornets. The Hornets went into Atlanta. That's back-to-back home losses for Atlanta. Sunday night, the Hornets won 130-127. One notable thing here, this total went over 250. 4 straight Hornets games have gone over 250, Dead. That's happened only once since 1990. So before you were even born, man.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of offense. I don't think. I think a lot of it is because they're missing so many of their guys because of COVID. They're just like, you know what, just go out there, run and gun, shoot as many threes as you want, and hopefully we
Right.
win. And they ended up winning on Sunday.
Well, it's very impressive, right? Without LaMelo to headline, but also no Terry. They have very important guys out of that lineup. But I mean, you look at the stats last night. Ish Smith came in, he stepped up, scored 18 points for them. The issue for me really falls with the Hawks there. That's a horrible loss. I mean, coming off of a bad loss to the Sixers, like we just mentioned. But then, I mean, to go into last night's game at home against a depleted team as an 8-point favorite and lose that game. But yeah, I mean, that's a crazy stat there. You see with their totals, they just continue to go over. And maybe tonight's a spot that we could get an under. Hopefully for them, it's the play I was eyeing up, and I think you mentioned maybe a little bit of a Sixers play. So we'll give a little bit of a foreshadowing there to what we're going to get into later. But yeah, there were some surprising results last night in the NBA. Also, the Rockets, they're heating up. They've all of a sudden.
Yeah. I want to talk about that one real quick. We hate it, right? Because we're both on the Houston team total under for the year.
Right.
The Rockets started off 1-16. We were cruising with this.
Cruising.
Bet. It wasn't even close. They're the first team in history to go 1-16 and then win 6 straight games. They currently have the longest winning streak in the NBA, and they're arguably the hottest team in the NBA. 6 straight wins, Dad. Like, can you believe that? They were 3-point dogs last night, and they still.
Well, we're sweating it now. I mean, for sure, it's almost paced bad now, out of nowhere. So I think we'll get there. I think they're going to go back to like a crazy losing streak. But I mean, if you're a Rockets fan, I don't think you want them to be winning these games at this point. I remember when the Sixers were, in the process mode. We wanted them to lose. No one wants to, like, what are they gaining from winning those games? I mean, I understand it's a business, and these guys are going to show up and play every night, but I hope they start losing again for sure. I think that we did hit most of those games last night. We have a pretty loaded slate tonight, AC, but real quick, we could reset the room here, guys, because we have. If you're watching here, AC, we got people hopping in. We're getting a lot of people coming in out. We want to just reset it here, guys, for you. Again, if you guys are just joining, pretty crazy promotion today from our friend at 7 Stack Sports. 200% free play bonus up to $1,000 for any new customer who signs up today. If you are an existing customer, you're going to get 150% free play bonus plus 10% back on your losses of the week from 7 Stacks. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. Get in today, please. DM myself, DM AC, if you guys need to, right there on the screen. DM them at 7 Stack Sports to say, hey, coming over from 2 in the Zone. I would love to hop on this promotion tonight. Also, if you guys are users of Bitcoin, same day payouts as well. Just did a big one today that we saw on Twitter. So make sure you guys take advantage of the best book on Twitter. AC, let's do it. Let's get into tonight's slate. And I think it's good. You kind of gave us a little preview. Look at those beautiful graphics. You gave us a little preview of this Hornets Sixers game. So let's start there with that game. You mentioned Hornets got hit by the COVID bug. It's been, getting some of these teams. LaMelo Ball out, Rozier out, Plumlee out, Jalen McDaniels. I think I covered them all. I don't know if there's more guys coming in or out in this game. But what's your thoughts on this game tonight? Philly at 6.5 right now.
Yeah, I sent this over as a free play earlier this morning. I do like Philly tonight. I know it's square. I know it's a little reaction to the news with Charlotte, but that's a lot of firepower that's missing for the Hornets, and they just are on a second night of a back-to-back, I believe. Sixers are playing better. They're getting more healthy. Tobias is questionable because of an illness today, but I think even without him, I think they're going to do really well. For the season, they're actually 9-4 against the spread on the road. So they're not a good cover team at home, but when they're on the road, and they're on the road tonight in Charlotte, they usually do really well. They average over 106 points a game. Obviously, with the Hornets, with all their guys, they've been going a lot of games that are over. So maybe there's a buck the trend moment tonight. Maybe the under will hit. Maybe Philly's defense is going to show through. But I do like Philly at that number at 6.5, Dead.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I mean, as far as the side goes, I think it's Philly. I'm going to be on the under in this game tonight, though, at 217.5. Another good point to make, back-to-back for the Hornets, coming off a big road win. It's a tough spot to go back into a place, and get, a win tonight on a back-to-back. They do return home, but I think the line is suggesting it's a Philly play with everybody out of the lineup for the Hornets. All right, AC, the Thunder and the Pistons. This is one of those games I feel like we sometimes get sucked into. It's just two awful teams, but a line like this, what's your thoughts on this? I see when we started the show it was at 2.5. Now I see 3.5. Do you have any thoughts on this game?
This one's tough, man. We love OKC as dogs, right? We've been kind of tooting that horn for the majority of the season. As favorites, maybe not. They're not that great at covering favorites, but they're on the road tonight. Cade Cunningham is playing a lot better. The Thunder are a trendy dog, if you will. They're the public dog, which I don't really like. They're 13-9 overall against the spread for the season. On the road, they're 6-5 against the spread. Detroit's not bad, honestly. Detroit is 4-18 as their record, but cover-wise, they're 11-11. They're a 500 team when it comes to covering. What really hurts for them is their offense. They're averaging less than 100 points while giving up almost 109. So that 9-point differential is one of the worst in the league. But guess who's worse? The Thunder. So I actually like the Pistons tonight at home. I think Cade Cunningham is trending up. So give me the Pistons, man.
I'm with you. I think this is a Pistons play all the way. Like you mentioned too, AC, public dogs never good. Even though the Thunder have been good to us this season as a dog, I'm not backing them as a road public dog tonight. Give me the Pistons in this game at -3 or 3.5, depending where your book is. Wizards and Pacers. Wizards all of a sudden, they see a little bit of a hiccup. Got absolutely smoked on Friday night. Then last night, they kind of got smoked again. The score made it look closer at the end, but the Raptors, they were up 26 at a point in that third quarter on this Wizards team. So it's a back-to-back for the Wizards tonight. What do you think about this game? Line is at 5.5, total at 211, which is crazy for a Wizards game. It's crazy how quick they kind of flipped, right? Because like Wizards games always used to be like 230, like 235, like even a year back. But what's your thoughts on this game tonight?
Man, you know me and the Pacers. Like we have this love-hate relationship. This is a Pacers play, in my opinion. They're at home. To me, they're the more solid team, especially on defense. They're very versatile, and they have most of their guys back this tonight, especially one of my favorite players, Malcolm Brogdon. But they continue to disappoint me. 5.5-point favorites, that's a lot of points. I'm probably going to lay off of this one, Dad. I kind of like the under. I know it's a very low under, especially in the NBA. At 211, I think we're going to see a lot of bricks in this one. So give me the under, Dad.
Yeah, this is a game I will probably stay off of. I kind of do like the Wizards just because I think it's a lot of points. I understand the back-to-back, but they also sat out a lot of their big guns kind of as that fourth quarter went along. So this is a game that, in my opinion, I will lean towards actually taking the road dog here in the Wizards. This is a game a lot of people are asking us to hit on, AC, the Grizzlies and the Heat tonight. I think it's an enticing matchup, but this isn't kind of what we thought, right? We would think we'd be seeing a lot more stars in this game. Obviously, both of these teams have had to deal with some injuries. Bam Adebayo out for an extended period of time. Jimmy's been in and out of the lineup. Ja's been in and out. So what's your thoughts on this game tonight with the Heat currently sitting as a -4.5-point favorite?
Yeah, record-wise, they're pretty similar teams. Memphis is 14-9 against the spread. Miami is 14-10 against the spread. The difference, though, is on defense. Memphis is one of the worst defensive teams in the league. I think they are bottom 5 in defensive rating. So they give up 112 points. The issue now is without Bam, Jimmy might be hurt. Do they have enough firepower on the Heat to kind of, take advantage of some of the holes that Memphis has on defense? I don't know, man. Like this game is hard. Like I kind of just want to watch it and see how these teams play. And this is kind of like the B team, right, for each team, because Ja Morant for me is like he does everything for Memphis. And I know they got Dylan Brooks back, but they're also missing Brandon Clark tonight. It's a little coin flippy. I know the Heat have had some really disappointing losses at home, especially as of late. So maybe the value here is in Memphis, Dad. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, this is a play. I like a prop in this one, and a lot of props don't come out this early because we record so early on the East Coast. But Steven Adams on a rebounding prop in this game. Issue for him sometimes is how many minutes they play him. But, with no Bam, and they don't have a great big man, to really stop him on the glass, in my opinion. He's kind of his minutes have been so inconsistent. That's why the play could scare you a bit. I mean, he's averaging still 8 rebounds in about 17 minutes. But I'm going to be on the lookout for his rebounding prop because I don't think Dwayne Dedmon will be able to deal with him on the glass. I think Adams will have a lot of chances for offensive rebounds as well. As far as the side goes, this is a game I do like the Heat in this spot, even if we don't see Jimmy in the lineup tonight. You mentioned it, AC. The Grizzlies defense, they've just struggled, through and through the season. This is a gritty Miami team. I think that this line is suggesting that it is a Heat play. Won't be shocked if we see the public again end up on the Grizzlies as a dog tonight. But give me the Heat in this game. But keep an eye for that Steven Adams prop because I think that thing will be money in this game. Cavs and Bucks. The Cavs, they're just sticking around. They're kind of staying in that playoff hunt through 24, 25 games on the season. They come into tonight's game as a 6.5-point underdog. But, I mean, AC, they almost took out the Jazz last night. I don't know if you watched that game. It was a 1-point game, came down to it. Darius Garland, he's been phenomenal, 31 points again last night. What's your thoughts on this one? It's a back-to-back for the Cavs tonight. Do you think they get this done? Because I think that this could be a Bucks blowout in this spot.
Oh, wow. I think this is the first game we're kind of opposite on, Dead. I definitely was paying attention to Cleveland last night. That was my only play in the NBA. They should have won it. That would have been nice, but it was an easy cover. So the Cavs are the best cover team in the NBA. Nobody knows this. I don't know why. They're 18-5 against the spread. Wow. That is elite. I think they've been undervalued all year. Milwaukee's coming off a very nice win against Miami. They blew them out by 22. So there is a potential letdown spot here, kind of like the Warriors and the Spurs on Saturday night. But the Cavs, man, they've covered 5 straight. They're 7-0-1 against the spread in the last 8 games at home. So they're on the road. So they're a great road team as well. So, I mean, I think the value here is with the Cavs. I know, they're missing Sexton. They're missing Dean Wade. But Osman should come back today. And I love Evan Mobley. I think he can not stop Giannis, but he's the type of player, body style, right? Length and athleticism that can give Giannis some trouble. So I kind of like Cavs tonight, man.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give Bucks on the first half there at like 3.5 or 4. I think they jump out early. Maybe it's a late cover for the Cavs, but I'm betting on some regression for them, AC, here tonight. Yeah. And it's a tough spot, in my opinion, for them to be playing tonight on a back-to-back and on the road as well. But we will have to see how this one plays out. All right, AC, I'm going to hype this up real quick for the people because this was another one that everyone wanted us to talk about tonight. Nuggets and Bulls. So these are both teams who, you look at the Nuggets season, I think being 500's a small victory right now because they haven't had Jamal, right? They haven't had Jokic in a lot of games. They haven't had Barton at times. Porter's going to be out for the year. But what's your thoughts on this game? Because I think this line's a little funky tonight, just 3.5. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I'm going contrarian here, man. I'm gonna go with the Nuggets tonight. With that 3.5 points, I think there's a little bit of echo there, Dead. But yeah, I want to go Nuggets tonight. They're on the road. Teams are trending different directions, right? The Bulls are trending up. They're 4-1 against the spread in the last 5. And the Nuggets are just 2-7 against the spread in their last 9. So the Nuggets are actually going down. A lot of that is due to the injuries like Dad kind of mentioned there. But Jokic is still playing great. I still think he's the best player on the court or on the floor out of these two teams. So give me the Nuggets, maybe the Nuggets first half because we know how the Bulls close. We know how well DeMar DeRozan plays in that fourth quarter. So maybe the values with the Nuggets, maybe first half money line, maybe the +1, +2. But I do like Nuggets here, Dad. What about you?
Is the echo gone, AC, or is it still going on?
It's gone. It sounds good now.
All right, as long as we fix that up. Tough game here, AC, because I'm with you. As far as the side looks, it's a Nuggets play for me. 3.5, it's a weird line. Bulls have been kind of rolling through this season, but even of late, like a big win. Like they were dogs in that Nets game, right? And then the Knicks game, they made it interesting. They were a short favorite. I think we both had them on Thursday, but I feel like this line should be closer to like 5.5 or 6, and so for that reason, I think that this is a little bit of a tough spot to back them. Nuggets coming off a big road win, but they haven't played since Saturday, so a little bit of time here off, and I do think that they get it done tonight. So I will be with you on the Nuggets as far as that side. That is my lean at the moment. All right, AC, we have how many games left here? Four games left to go over tonight. We just want to, again, guys, thank our friends at 7 Sec Sports. Make sure you guys give them a follow on Twitter. Doing a couple big promos today. New players, 200% free play sign-up bonus. If you are an existing player, 150% free play sign-up bonus. So DM them on Twitter at 7 Sec Sports. Hit up myself, hit up AC. We'll take care of you. Hawks, T-Wolves tonight, AC. This is another game I think a lot of people have been asking you and I about. It's a tough spot here in some ways for the Hawks, right? Coming off that back-to-back. What's your thoughts on this with the T-Wolves as a short home favorite?
Man, I love the Timberwolves. I just love the Timberwolves, their talent. I think
we lost AC there for a second, guys. But yeah, for this game with the T-Wolves, it is a tough spot. You know, them being a 2.5 point favorite, it's a tough spot for the Hawks. This is a game I would lean with the T-Wolves on the short money line. Currently, I'm -2.5 across most books, but they do sit in a good spot here, being a little bit more well rested, and they've been a decent team. You look overall, 11-12 this season. Western Conference has been crazy, so they've been able to kind of hang in the West as well, but it's been tight. There he is.
My bad.
No worries. But yeah, no, I was just kind of talking about how I agreed with you there, AC. The T-Wolves, I think they're in a good spot tonight here at home, and people kind of wouldn't think this, but if they win this game, technically they have a better record than the Hawks because they'd be a half a game technically up on them. So I think this is the T-Wolves play here. They've been a little bit better, I think, than some of us thought. They win this game back to 500, and that Western Conference, AC, is wide open this season.
Yeah, just some trends with the T-Wolves, right? They're playing a lot better as of late. They were horrible. They were a terrible team to start the year, but in their last 11 games, they're 8-3 against the spread. They're 7-3 straight up in their last 10. Even if you want to go closer or smaller, last 5 home games, they're 5-0. So they're on fire at home. They're on fire, period. I think they're one of the better teams right now that's going outside of the Houston Rockets. And the Hawks are just not very good on the road. So I like Minnesota here. If they don't cover, it's probably going to be one of those weird NBA fourth quarters where it's like a 25-10 fourth quarter and the Hawks come back. But I think the Wolves control the entire game here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a good spot to take the Wolves tonight, AC, as that short home favorite. And I think, again, Hawks probably end up being a public dog, and we love to feed them. Spurs, Suns, we just mentioned, hey, Spurs coming off that big win against the Warriors. Suns red hot, got cooled off a little bit there by the Warriors, but they come into this one as a 7.5 point favorite. Give me your thoughts on this game tonight between the Suns and the Spurs.
No way the schedule makers would have known this, right? But what a tough back-to-back for the Spurs. They go on the road to Golden State to play the best team, and then now they go on the road to Phoenix to play the second best team. This one's tough, man. Obviously, the value here is on the Spurs because the Suns, remember, is missing Devin Booker. So, I mean, it's hard to back Phoenix. And they've been one of those teams where they would get down, and Dead and I talk about this all the time, but they get down, and in their fourth quarter is when they kind of turn it on. They do have arguably the best closing team in the NBA. So maybe a Spurs first half spot here, right? A Dead Press special.
Yep, that is what I was thinking a little bit. It's a tough game for me. Probably a stay away. I kind of was just about to say that. I think it's a Spurs first half. Suns probably get that full game just because that back-to-back factor to AC Spurs. In a tough spot here tonight. I think the legs might get to them as that game goes on. Magic and Warriors. We have 2 games left here. AC. This is by far the biggest spread of the night. But we mentioned, hey, Warriors coming off that loss now, but they're -16 tonight at home. You think they cover that big number?
They are 10-3 against the spread at home, so they're an elite home team. The thing that really differentiates themselves with other top tier teams is that bench doesn't slow down offensively.
Nope.
Like the talent may be a drop off, right? But the bench itself, they still run the same plays. They still shoot the same number of threes. They still get to the free throw line. They all shoot well above 80% from the line. So this is a game where, you may think, you could get a great number of on Orlando live, like maybe plus 23.5 or plus 24.5 because they're down by 30. But the Warriors don't let teams come back, man, just because they're such a good shooting team. I think the Warriors cover this number here. I don't think it's even going to be close.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I kind of like the Magic, but I mean, man, am I scared to back the Magic in this type of game? I just think the number leaves a lot of chances for, a potential backdoor in this game. To tell you the truth, I just think it's a large number. You know me, I don't like laying these giant spreads, but
same.
It's a tough call. It'll probably be a game ultimately. I just back off from final game of the night, and this will be kind of little bit interesting segment before we close out because we were kind of going back and forth on this. Obviously, I'm a big Philly fan. Big talks now coming that Dame Lillard wants to play with Ben Simmons, right?
Yeah.
And the trade likely would include, CJ, Anthony Simmons, Nasir Little, and a first from Portland. Tonight, now there was some issues with Chauncey Billups. He called their team out. He had a pretty good quote saying, he's never played on a team where the bench has to motivate the starters. It's typically the other way. So there's issues. There's issues all over right now in Portland, DC. And I think the line tonight would tell you that too, right? This isn't a great Clippers team this year. They're a 3-point favorite. Do you think it's just done in Portland, the CJ and Dame experiment?
And they just fired their GM last week, right? So there's a lot of turmoil there. But one way when it comes to sports handicapping is do not overreact to all the negative news, right? A lot of people, for example, I know this is not the same sport, but when the Henry Ruggs situation was happening and then their coach got fired, everybody was fading Raiders that week and they ended up covering. So off the field stuff. With that said, I like the Clippers tonight. The Clippers on the road to me is a better team. I think they just have dogs that love to play in that kind of environment, right? Like outside of Paul George, you have like Morris, Batum, Ibaka. I think they just do really well on the road. Reggie Jackson, especially. So I like the Clippers tonight, man. I think all this off the court news may potentially affect the Blazers, but again, there's no Dame. There's not enough scoring power for them. So I like Clippers tonight. What about you?
Yeah, I think there's just way too much going on here in Portland to feel comfortable backing them. But I think it's a Clippers play. I mean, the issue was, too, they're a great home team. Now they've dropped a couple at home. And this is like a season, AC, where the West has been kind of depleted with injuries. Like the Nuggets, they've been banged up with injuries. The Clippers with, obviously, Kawhi. The Grizzlies now with Josh. So there's a lot of open windows for teams. Like if the Blazers don't make the playoffs or play in game, I mean, the amount of disappointment that would display. But my personal opinion, this thing's getting blown up soon in Portland. I think we'll see that deal go through. I mean, the Simmons issue, we've talked about this, you and I, even just through our personal text, like there's been so many, rumors. I think this is the one that actually gets done because they're in like the same situation.
It has to happen. Yeah, it just has to happen.
Yeah, I feel like the Philly wants to get rid of Ben. Portland wants to get rid of CJ. Dame doesn't. It's just they both need to do something. And ultimately, like, you put that tweet out, Ben's the best player in that deal. I'm not going to debate that. But, I think Anthony Simon's coming over too. He's a really good shooter coming off the bench. CJ, while he's not the best, I don't think he's a number 2, to be honest. I think he's more like a 3 on a good team. He'll at least give them scoring. I think that deal gets done, AC, ultimately. But they're tough to back right now.
My 2 cents, any shooter that gets to play with Joel Embiid is going to be elevated. So you kind of saw that with Tobias. He's just playing a lot better with Joel. You're seeing that with Seth Curry. He's one of the most lethal shooters in the NBA. You pair him up with Embiid, he just becomes way better. So I think if it's CJ, Simons, or Nasir Little, I think they're just going to get. So basically what I'm saying is like what you grade CJ as a player now is not going to be the same grade when he's playing with a Joel Embiid. He's just going to be so much better. And then the same with Ben Simmons. He just needs new scenery, new fresh air. So I think him being with Dame in the Pacific Northwest kind of fits with him. But as far as tonight's game, the Blazers have gotten blown out back-to-back games. So it's not a team where you think that they can get it right, or it's not a team where they can bounce back, because the team is just not very good, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lost by 30. They gave up 145 points to the Celtics. I mean, the Celtics offense is terrible. That's 145 points in regulation. Payne Pritchard scored like 20 points in the fourth quarter. And then the game before that, they lost to the Spurs by 30. So this is not a good team. I think the Clippers should roll tonight if they're the Clippers that I think they are. So give me the Clippers. And one thing you did mention, and just coming back to me now, but when we had Hakeem Ski Prophet on the show, he talked about every time he goes against a Dame-led team, he takes it super personal. So maybe PG kind of shows out tonight. Paul George, maybe look into props, maybe 30 points, 35 points tonight for Paul George.
AC, just before we close this up here, and we did go a little bit over our time because we had a lot to get into from the weekend. The people are asking us for a little bit of a Monday Night Football lean or some action in this game. We figured we'll give it to them. Remember, some great lines, guys, on 7 Stack Sports as well if you want to check them out. But AC, I'll defer to you first in this game. It's probably the game of the year. I'm going to go out and say that to this point. What's your thoughts, Bills or Pats, for you tonight?
It's the game of the year from a record standpoint. I think it's going to be an ugly game. Wow. I think the under is going to hit. The under right now is so low, right? It's like the low 40s. Let me double check the number. It is at 41 points with two really good quarterbacks, two pretty good offenses. But the windy conditions there, I think the gusts are up to like 30, 40 miles per hour. So it's going to negate the passing game for both teams. So it's going to be a good game in terms of like two really good teams record wise, but I think the aesthetics of it is going to be really, really ugly and low scoring. Okay. So I like the under tonight, Dad. What about you?
I'm on the Bills here, AC. The issue with New England, I still think they're being very overvalued by the sports books. You know, they've only beat two teams that have a 500 record or better. One of them was when they beat the Titans without most of their roster, right? So, yeah, I think Mac Jones gets his first road loss. It's going to be by far the most difficult environment he'll have to play in. And, you know, you could argue the Bills haven't beat up on anyone great this year, but we've seen this Bills team beat great teams. I haven't really seen this Patriots team beat a great team, because I'm not calling the Titans win great, right? With how the status of that game. So I think we're getting a steal here, guys, with the Bills at -3 or 2.5 at home, whatever line you got. So Bills Mafia tonight for me, baby. I'm all over the Bills. I think they get it done. And, you know, you mentioned the under as well. So let's cash those in. But we want to thank everyone, guys. Had a ton of people hop in this episode. Like we said, our goal would get to 10K an episode. That would be awesome. But we do appreciate everybody who comes on. Best NBA show on Twitter, right, AC? By the best sports book, also at 7 Stack Sports. But one last time, we want to throw out the promotions tonight 7 Stacks is doing for all new players. Any new customer, guys, 200% free play sign-up bonus. That is an unbelievable deal. If you don't understand how good of a deal that is, please do make sure to DM myself or AC or 7 Stack Sports on Twitter. And then also, if you're an existing customer, free play bonus up to 150% plus 10% back on losses this week. If you're a person who likes some Bitcoin, make sure you use that because you get same-day payouts and deposits. But AC, you want to take us home? I think we hit on most of them. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks, Dad. Good luck on the Bills tonight, everybody, and the under.
Yes, sir.
Later, y'all.
All right, see you guys.